Hi, everybody. How is everyone? I saw a comment saying that they can't stop thinking about J-Hope's concert. You and I both. Okay. Hi, Rasha, Leah, Nancy, the Bio Explorer. Hi. I haven't seen you in a while here. Um, Kathleen Namhar, Marie, Darren, Angel Star, Lindsay, Anne, Cindy, Halina, Carol, Becky, Me Too, Pink Crystal, BTS Forever, Forever 7, Bang Luna, BTS Pave the Way, Daniel, Hand Painted Paints, Rachel, Elaine, Doll Baby, Owie, OSP, Darren, Joanna, Chloe, Eliz, and Claudia. Hi! Have you all pre-registered for J-Hope's concert? I have finished my pre-registration, but I guess they're going to announce California last because of the fire. So the wildfire. So we don't know yet when ours is gonna happen. I'm still thinking about. I will try to buy tickets on other cities as I've promised, just in case there are armies that can't buy tickets but would like to buy. Can't like get to buy like they can't buy but they want to buy. So I'll buy some tickets outside of California. I will be offering that first to my Patreon subscribers, and then if everyone got theirs, then I'll offer it outside of Patreon. I usually just offer it on Twitter, but just want to make sure that whoever gets it is a real army. So I will be checking whoever wants to get that ticket. So don't despair. At least I will try to buy some. Okay, there's a lot of you. Claudia, Banguna, Darren, Kathleen, HHK, Elaine, Becky, Dodger Girl, Rachel. Okay. Hi. What's the process? New to this. What's the process for what? For buying J-Hope's ticket? You have to register in Weavers. So there are two purchasing period. One would be pre-registration, sorry, one would be just for members and then the other for general sale. Now, armies are fast, so usually there is no general sale. Usually it gets sold out on pre-sale. So for membership only, you do have to be a member of Weavers. So go to Weavers, open an account, and then if you want to buy in the US, you do need to register. You need to get US membership. And then if you're not really particular about the US and you want to go to other country, I don't know where you are, then you can just buy a global membership. And then it's also different for Japan. Hi, Juliet. Roden. Hello, Becky. T Style. T Style said, I registered. I'm not supposed to go, but I seriously lack self discipline. Hi, Jessica. Just buy with a new semester. Just busy with a new semester. Oh, okay. Okay. So so go to Rachel Loftus. So go to Weavers. You have to register as a member, paid member, not just a free member. You can be a member of Weavers free, but if you want to be able to buy tickets, which is the first part of the selling just for members, you do need to be a paid member. So I know one of the biggest issues of armies is, oh, by the way, congratulations to Jimin, 24th week inside Billboard Hot 100. Yay. So it looks like we're trying to push for one more week. So if you can please continue streaming, premium stream, please, it's going to help. It's really going to help a lot. So please continue streaming. We want to get him there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks for as long as we can. So please, 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 let's not be complacent. So let's continue streaming premium, please. I envy all of you who are going to enjoy Hobie's concert in the USA and Mexico. Okay, well, he does have Asia. Claudia, where are you from? Thank you for those that are liking it. Hey everyone, it's a blizzard here. Where is a blizzard here? Actually, that's one of the biggest issues the past several days, um, because a lot of those that were trying to pre-register got surprised about one rule that they did not expect was going to be implemented. All right, let's do that first, and then let's talk about it. Okay, so J-Hope on stage. So he has 10 shows in the US. As I've said, for you to be able to join the members only sale, you do need to be a member, a paid member of Weavers. Okay, so when you become a member of Weavers, you can be a member of Japan Weavers, you can have Japan membership, global membership, and US membership. Okay, so apparently what happened was they did not expect this. What happened was that they learned once you pre-register, they tell you that you can only buy tickets in the country where you are registered in, except for Seoul, but that's sold out. But for example, for Army membership, US, then you can buy tickets to Brooklyn, Chicago, Rosemont, San Antonio, Oakland, and LA. Okay. If you have a global membership, you can buy Mexico. You can't buy in Japan or in US. In the same breath, now, so a lot of people got shocked because this is the first time they've done it. In previously, if US is open to everybody, so you can just buy regardless of where you're from. Now, since they opened US membership, which it's pretty new, no one really thought that they were going to just open ticketing, membership ticketing, to the country where you are registered under. So there are a lot of complaints. It was pretty like a lot of people were complaining. They think that it's because of Trump, because he was going to be the next president. So they think like, oh, they're going to discriminate. So they don't want you to come here or whatever. Okay, people, I came here, he was the president. So I don't think he'll do that. Okay. So the main question is that why do you need a US membership to be able to buy tickets in the US stops? That was the main question they've had. Are they making it exclusive to Americans? Okay, the thing is that when you register, you actually do not need to be an American. If you want to register to get a US membership, you do not need to be American. You only need a US number, sorry, a US address. For as long as you have a US address, you can get a US membership. Okay. Um, so that's the answer to that. It's not because they're making it exclusive to Americans. You can't, for as long as you are a US member, US Weavers member. So remember that once you register in Weavers and you choose which area you want to be registered in, if you want US, you do need a US address. Okay. And when they are going to deliver your goods, they are going to deliver it to your US address. Now, the thing is that what really surprised me is how angry people were when they've been doing this in Japan for a really long time. So in Japan, you can only buy tickets in Japan through if you have either a smartphone reception only, meaning it has to be a Japanese registered phone. Otherwise, you won't be able to buy, or you can only pay your tickets in a convenience store in Japan. Or sometimes you actually do need a registration card, a Japanese registration card. They're so strict. Now, it doesn't mean that if you are American or Filipino or Canadian or whatever, you won't be able to buy tickets in Japan. It's just that you need all of these things. You either need some, depending on their rules. So sometimes it's a Japanese phone number. Sometimes you do need to pay in a convenience store in Japan, or sometimes you need the Japanese registration number. So the solution is that many armies are actually just looking for friends or mutuals, social media mutuals, and they ask for a favor that are from Japan, and they ask for a favor. Like, hey, can you buy for me? So that is the solution. And that is the same thing in the US. It's not that you can't get a US registration membership for Weavers. It's just that you do need a US address. So many people are like, that's still a hurdle. I know, but Japan has a bigger hurdle. So now, do I agree in on that? No, I don't agree that they should be limiting it to Japanese, and I also don't agree that they should be limiting it to the US. My point is that they've been doing this for a long time in other countries. So, um, now a lot of people are saying, but then are US members able to purchase from other venues, from other stops? No. So, for example, for Mexico, they can only the global members can actually buy a ticket in Mexico. That's what it says here. We don't know if that's going to change. Now, again, maybe we can still have a global membership, even if sorry, you can have a global membership even if you have a US membership. You just need to pay twice. But I can't have a Japanese Weavers membership if I am not in Japan, because as I've said, of all of those things, they need a Japanese registered phone. Sometimes they even need your card, your Japanese social security card or something like that. So I don't agree that they're doing it. I don't agree that they're doing it in the US. I don't agree that they're doing it in Japan. But I am also not surprised because they've been doing it in Japan for a really long time. So that's the answer to the question. Like, I'm not I don't see, I understand why a lot of people are upset, but also I am not surprised that they did it this way. Um Now many people are pointing out that Weavers never explained that you have to register a US membership to be able to get US tickets. That's their complaint. Like, if they said that in the beginning, then they would have registered, they would have gotten a US membership. They actually did. They just weren't explicit, but they did say that there are going to be different privileges or different opportunities for different membership types. So they said it in number 4. Once you are going through the process of registration, they did say at number 4, opportunities to purchase pre-sale tickets or participate in raffles for BTS concerts. Details may differ by concert. So they did explain. I do agree that it's not very clear, but they did explain it. They did say that there are different opportunities for different membership. Um, so that that's where we are with them. A lot of people did say that they ended up buying US membership or whatever. One of I'm not going to disclose the name because I did not ask for permission, but one person actually, okay, I'm not going to say because I didn't ask for permission. But yeah, so a lot of people actually ended up buying a US membership on top of their global membership. Another reason, BTS Forever 7 said that another reason why some army buy at least 3 to 5 tickets. Yeah, so I will buy the most that I can buy. So if I'm allowed 4, I'll buy 4. And then, as I've said, I'm going to offer it to people, to my Patreon members first, the Patreon community. And if no one takes it, then I'll offer it on Twitter and on YouTube. Okay. Jessica said everyone has to read all the fine details. Yes, they do have to read that. And then another question that was asked, why are they keeping foreigners out of the US? Um, One could be that they are actually testing the real market share. That's one. They want to know, like, if we limit it to, it's not 100% limitation. Like, it's not a strict limitation. As I've said, if somebody buys for you, you're good. If you can get a US address, you're still good. So it's not like they will completely block this. They will completely block other people that are not from the US from watching. It's just that it's another hurdle. So one thing that they will be able to gauge and measure is the real, or at least closest to the real market share of J-Hope in the US. So if you're going to put another hurdle, then you are going to most likely increase the number of real US resident, or those that are located in the US. Then you'll have a more accurate way, a more accurate measure of the actual market share of J-Hope in the US. So that's one, testing the real market share. Um, Now, economically, this is actually counterintuitive in the US, because instead of having people come here to spend money, people are going to go to Mexico, because that's where they can buy if they have global membership, or other parts of the world. So economically, this is actually not practical for the US, because you're supposed to be allowing people to come in that have money to spend in the US. So clearly, if you have the money to buy a plane ticket and a concert, then most likely you're going to be spending on other things while you're in the US. So it is very counterintuitive. Okay. So another question, I didn't want to put it here, but another question I was wondering is that, like, is it because of Trump, because he's going to be the president? I'm like, I, I in the US, even if you are a visitor, your rights are protected. So I am and in the major areas, there, the cities where he's going to have a concert, those are very, very blue states. So New York, California, Chicago, those are blue cities. So don't worry about it. That's one. Second, as I've said, even if you are a visitor in the US, your rights are protected. That's why a lot of people come here, because they have the freedom of speech and all of those things. A third is that at the very least, you can count on the fact that Trump is a businessman, so he would want money to come into the US. He's going to be stricter in immigration, but not, I don't think he's going to want to deter people from coming into the US. You would still, Jessica said, you will still have to get a visa to enter the US property, correct? You do need a visa. There are certain countries that don't need a visa. South Korea, Japan, Singapore, EU countries, I think, do not need a visa. So there are certain countries where you wouldn't need a visa. And and vice versa. There are certain countries where a US citizen can actually enter without a visa. I like, for Americans, that if you go to South Korea, you don't need a visa. Japan, you don't need a visa, and some other countries. So the most powerful passport, I believe, is Singapore for 2024, or for 2025. Sorry, for 2025, the most powerful is Singapore. Next is Japan. I want to say South Korea, I think, is number three, and US is number six or number seven. So that is the ranking of the number of countries where you can come in. If you're a citizen of that country, you can come into other countries without a visa. The Bio Explorer, I wish they would give an idea of the ticket prices, or have they, and I missed it. No, they have not. There is someone who said that it may be worth, like, the VIP section, may be worth like 900, 800, but I have no idea if that is true. Now, the other thing is, you don't want to meet Trump. I don't think you're going to meet him. Um, the other thing is that you do need to take into consideration inflation. So don't expect that the prices of the tickets back in 2020 or 2021 will be the same. In the last 5 years, the last 4 years, inflation has really, really skyrocketed, and it is higher than what is published. Remember that. So if the government is saying it is 9%, it's actually most likely like 13, 14, 15%. Now that they're saying it's about 2.7 or 2.9, it's probably about 7 or 8. So inflation is higher than what the government numbers actually release. And so please don't expect that it's going to be the same thing, and then wage war against J-Hope or Big Hit for increasing the prices. Inflation. So it exists and it is real. Everything else has gone up, from oil to gas to food to whatever. Everything has gone up. concert tickets will also go up, because do remember that people have to be paid in order to for this concert to happen, right? So salaries are increasing, so naturally ticket prices are going to increase. So let's remember that. um Ophelia said if you press ticket you can see prices. That's what he said. Okay, so expensive in the US compared to Korea. Actually, it's yeah, there are some things, I guess so, yeah. Yes, a little. It's close. There are certain states in the US that are cheaper, but if you compare it to like California, New York, Chicago, it's really, really expensive here. Good morning from the Caribbean. Hi, Chelsea. Pink Crystal said, makes me wonder how much the tickets will sell here in the Philippines. Let me know. I'm also wondering. Hoan said, it's different from Suga's concert. You just have to register with your membership. Your membership number is the press code. Ophelia said, no worries. The Buy Explorer looked at Seoul and Japan prices. No problem. Hope it works. Okay. So, do you have any question about this new Weverse ticketing thing? I wonder if J-Hope realized how much stairs is causing. I still love him. I actually said like this feels like what do you call this, like Hunger Games. Thank you, Pinker. So yeah, so it feels like Hunger Games, like the amount of people that are participating in the discussion. And like, are all these people actually going to be buying tickets, or are they just yapping? Because there's a lot of people giving their 2 cents about the Weverse thing, and I'm like, are you actually gonna buy us? um Michelle Maybell, I missed it. We go to Weverse to register to buy tickets for US concerts. Correct. Yeah. You do need a US membership in Weverse. So in Weverse, there's global membership, US membership, Japan membership. You need a US membership in order to pre-register first, and then they'll announce when you can buy the tickets. Namhar, we use the Weverse app, correct? Yes, the Weverse app. We also have to fight the scalpers. That is the reason I'm going to buy as many as I can so that it doesn't go to the scalpers. I'm going to be reselling it at cost. Okay, I just want to make it clear. I'm not going to earn any money from it. I just want to be able to make sure that the tickets will be enjoyed by others, like actual armies. Um, Rain Ranko said she got herself a US membership. Will they be able to control scalpers? Not totally. No. I mean, there are people who are actually paying membership just to be able to buy tickets so that they can resell. In Japan and South Korea, they're actually instituting face recognition. So you need to buy you need to you be the actual person in order to okay. So that's what they're doing in Japan and South Korea. Facial recognition. I do know that in South Korea for a really long time, they have you do need to show your ID, and then the phone number has to match the phone number that you registered when you, because the ticket goes to your phone, that has to match. Now, I remember my niece when she bought Stray Kids tickets, she had to look for somebody who was in South Korea to buy her tickets. And then so there's a more expensive ticket. And then she bought like the nosebleed tickets so that it's cheaper, so that she can come into the venue. Then once she's in, then the other person gives her the seat. So it's like she bought two tickets. Will there be backdoor advantage? For example, season ticket holders got priority for PTD. I don't think they're going to be doing that anymore. So for those who don't know, when the it was actually Mott's, I think was oh no, it was PTD in LA in SoFi. What happened was the season ticket holders in SoFi, they were the first ones who were able to buy. And what they did, because these people are like rich, they bought all the tickets. And then- so it didn't even get to, or it barely got to the members, Weavers members, army members, just from the SoFi season ticket holders themselves. They already sold out the tickets. So, and then when they did it again, they abolished that. So I don't think they're going to do that again. Will there be okay, even if I am leaving in New Zealand, I'm still keeping my hopes that I will be able to watch them at least once. I'm praying for a miracle. Your miracle is going to happen. Scalpers are already selling second level for 400 plus B4 tickets even on sale. Okay. Do we buy directly from Weavers or get redirected to Ticketmaster? You will get redirected to Ticketmaster. You just need to use your Army membership as your code when you enter Ticketmaster. Okay. All right. So, do you have any other question about that? Before I actually go into the concert, like how much it costs the concert or whatever, I just want to briefly touch on something that's an issue. Not, it's not really an issue, but someone sent me something. One second. So I'm not really familiar with this guy, but allegedly a member of ATEEZ, Hongjung, wrote a rap. So he wrote a rap criticizing Bang Shiyok. And it was something, it had to do with um, the study, the internal document where they studied the perception of the public on different idols. So the lyrics, I don't even remember what the lyrics were, but he did mention the name Hitman, which is Hitman Bang, and the several reporters asked the agency of ATs about it. Like, is it true that it was directed at Hitman? He said Hitman like twice, I think, in the lyrics. So a lot of people are some people ask me like, what do I think about it? So okay, this is him. So I don't listen. I started listening to ATs, so but I'm not familiar yet with all the members. But this is him, Hung Jong, I think is the name. So the one that wrote the lyrics, wrote about this is Lee Sun Myung, who is a known supporter of Min Hee Jin. So according to him, the rap is about Hitman, and this is the lyrics. And you can see he actually mentioned the name Hitman, Hitman Bang. I'm sorry, just Hitman twice, Hitman twice, and then he did use like do 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 do, which is a known line from a song of Blackpink. So the question that was I was asked is, what is my reaction? Number one, shading people is part of hip hop, so I'm not shocked he's shading. If he shades anybody, I'm definitely not shocked if he shades Bang Chi-yook. Like that's just part of hip hop, part of rapping. In fact, that's how it all started. Like dissing each other. At least it's one of the early evolutions of hip hop. Like they or rapping, they actually criticize other people, so that's fine. Once in a while, we get something glorious, like the battle of Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I mean, that was glorious because these are two great rappers. Very talented, great flow. I just one of the two of the greatest rappers of all time. And so once they started shading each other, you're like, oh, I want to let's go. One hot chance that Drake is not talented. So this is kind of I mean, this is a battle that you want to hear, at least for me. Like this is a battle I want to hear because these are two great rappers that are dissing each other. So that's fine. Like, okay. Um Whether someone is wrong or right in what they are yapping about is another matter altogether, right? So, is he right in what he said? He thinks he's right. I guess that's why he wrote it. But it doesn't even matter what we think. His rhymes, his decision, that's his music. So leave him be. If he wants to criticize whoever he wants to criticize, for as long as he does it in his rhymes, that's part of the game. It's like, for as long as you don't bring it outside of it, then that's fine. In fact, knocking on institutions, that's nothing new. It's an age old strategy and probably the safest way to relevance, right? It's like millions of people criticizing Apple, Microsoft, X, and other big companies and other popular or millionaires and billionaires. Like, when they get criticized, like, people are going to criticize Kim Kardashian or Taylor Swift or Oprah, you know, Trump, like all of these big names. That's the easiest way to relevance because they already are popular. And if you try, if you start dissing them, then you're probably going to have some people listen to you. And most probably the ones that will be listening to you are the ones that are also hating on these people. So, that's like, it's nothing, it's nothing surprising. Many people have done that. Many people will continue doing it. It just so happened that he can rap, and so he did it via rapping. Journalists will do it through their journalistic pieces, right? Social media influencers will talk about the people that they criticize on their social media posts. He's a rapper, he's doing it through his rap. Now, so my reaction is, no big deal, you know, fine. Now, someone said that the issue is that Bang Shiyuk is not a rapper. Yeah, but as I've said, like, people are criticizing Kim Kardashian or Elon Musk, or also on their rapping or whatever, wherever they want to criticize him from. Like, these are big names, so it just goes with the territory. Bang Luna, can he rap? I'm not really familiar with him. I just started listening to ATEEZ based on the recommendation of other some of you. You recommended some of their names. So I'm not like I know too little to be able to judge. I also haven't heard the rap yet. So it's like, existing psychologist said, this is my reaction. I can't curse in here, but forget Elon Musk. It looks like Ticketmaster. Okay, what did he say exactly? Okay, I'll search for you. This was sent to me. 1 second. It was sent to me via Twitter. Someone sent me the actual lyrics of the. Okay, here. So what he said is here. I will just post it here. Okay. I almost ended the stream. Wait. All right. I'll post it here so you can see. Okay, so the lyrics is, should I be mad? There's nothing fun. Act your age, you punk. Just share your head, no, no. Shake your head, no, no. Why are you mad? What do you think you are, hitman? If you have time to watch others, watch your own back. Do, 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 bang. Watch your own back. Life full of jealousy, the state of making personal attacks while name dropping with blind hatred. So, according to Espanjin, and she is the number one enemy of Budokis on X, some listeners are speculating that the use of terms like hitman and lyrics about making personal attacks by name dropping may be targeting Chairman Bang and the controversy surrounding Hyde Music Industry report. Now, as I've said, the management company of ATEEZ was asked for an opinion, and they said that they don't have an official statement on the matter. Hoan said, I like a couple of 80s songs, so I'm disappointed if he is also manipulated by MHJ. I hope he's not. Hoan said, "Oh my God, he is dumb. Obviously, he doesn't get the report." A lot of people don't get the report. But as I've said, rap, yeah, this thing is part of rap. So that's like, his rhymes, his decisions, his music, right? Now, whether or not what they're yapping about is right or wrong, that's a different matter altogether. But, you know, it's his pen against the paper. So for me, it's like, it's not an issue. Um, like, you know, go ahead, Ophelia. I'm with you. Eh. Yeah, that was my reaction. Like, go, go ahead and criticize whoever you want to criticize. I have a feeling BTS will have something to say about all this. It'll be interesting to see how they address it. I think the only lesson, if there's any lesson, so far Bang Shiok has not said anything. Maybe it's too early because this just came out or anything or something. But if we would actually observe on how Bang Shiok is behaving, even on this Mama Roach issue, is that he has really separated himself from this side of the industry, right? He has really put distance between him and that side of the industry. That side of the industry, not the entire industry itself, but that side of the industry. So he's been busy, like just working, doing whatever he needs to do in order to, I guess, achieve his goals, grow the company, get new opportunities, launch new acts. Has been busy doing all of those things instead of um, responding to things like this. So I think if there's any lesson that I will pick up from all of this, it would be that, like, just continue doing what you're supposed to be doing, because those are the things that matter to you, right? So for Bang Shiyuk, he has nothing, he absolutely has nothing to gain if he actually responds to Mama Roach, and he has nothing to gain if he responds to this guy. Like, absolutely nothing. He's not going to gain anything. So why bother? And I guess that's why like for Apple or for uh Bill Gates or even Mark Zuckerberg, no matter how much we detest what they are doing or how much people detest what they are doing, to them, like, yeah, I'm just going to do whatever it is I'm supposed to do, because in this space that I'm in, this is what matters to me more. Responding to all of you is not going to gain me anything. So I think, if at all, we should learn from this. Like, this is, as I've said, this is the goal, is to be this unbothered by life. We have to be unbothered. Like, go ahead, yap all you want. I always say, like, I don't mind what people say about, sorry, not me. I have always believed and held on to the saying that whatever people say about me is none of my business. Like, you want to criticize me, you want to cancel, that's really none of my business, because it's you. I mean, I don't control people's emotions or thoughts. And I guess that's the same thought process of Bang Shiuk. Like, all of these things that you're doing right here, that's none of my business. My business is this, growing my company, getting new opportunities, launching new groups, doing something productive, in other words. For this guy, this would be productive for him because he is a rapper. He's trying to establish, I'm assuming that he's trying to establish his name. I don't know this guy's background, but like, this is his business. This is what matters to him, because getting involved in such a talk, knocking on someone who has such a big name, is going to benefit him. So it won't get me J-Hope tickets, so whatever. Exactly. When I heard about it, I was like, Actually, the other thing is, someone also sent me I there's this person that regularly sends me stuff on Twitter, and I appreciate her so much. I hope she never stops. So one of the things that she sent me was also Scooter, and not Scooter Braun, Justin Bieber unfollowing Usher and Scooter Braun. And I'm like, okay. Go ahead and unfollow, I guess. I'm like, this thing's like, I don't like, people are speculating, oh, maybe he did this and he did that. Like, number one, I really am so not interested on Usher or on Scooter Braun. So I don't care who unfollows them, who follows them, or whatever. Um, I mean, of course, I've been hearing a lot of things about what happened to just rumors about Justin Bieber. So whatever that may be, I hope he has. If it is true, I hope he has gotten over it. But I do know also that he's a new father and that he's working on that. You know, he's building his family. So I wish him well on that. But if he doesn't want to take this public, whatever it is that happened to him, that will be his decision and should be respected. Um, I agree, Mandy. One of ATEEZ's members was on Subin's show recently, so it does seem a bit odd to burn a bridge like that. Or maybe the boys are way too. I mean, the boys are professionals, right? I'm just not talking about BTS, but also TXT. For maybe for them, work is work. You know, as I've said, this is rapping. This thing is part of rap, so maybe. My only concern is I hope Scooter is not involved in the Diddy stuff because he is with Hype now. I don't think he is. I'm late. What happened? There's a lot of things that happened. There's this rapper from an idol rapper from ATEEZ who dissed Bang Chi-yuk. So we were talking about that. Okay, so let's talk about something more positive, shall we? The bad explorer, it dies make him seem ignorant about the whole thing. It does make him seem ignorant about the whole thing. Tried to this. Chelsea said tried to this. Yeah, tried to this. Okay. All right. So let's go into, a lot of people are so interested on like how much does it really cost to put together a concert, especially if the person that's having a concert, the artist that's having a concert is somebody like a BTS member, J-Hope, Suga. As we know, Suga is one of the most ambitious concert there is. Like he has an actual concept in the concert, and he actually built a stage in every stop. In almost every stop, there were some venues that had technical limitations, so they couldn't implement the concept that he had. But for the most part, like those stages that were, so he had, the stage was actually in Suga's concert, the stage was split. It was divided into six, and so one panel will actually go up, one after the other, on certain stages of the concert until there was nothing left. It was just him on the floor singing. Yeah, it was beautiful, and it's not just beautiful. Like there's an actual concept, and I guess that is why it is beautiful because there's an actual concept behind it. So the question a lot of people are asking is that, but how much did he actually take home from it? Because last week, sorry, not last week, but in the last live stream, I discussed how much the breakdown of the 1 million, 1.854 million, that who earned from the US. Okay. So, and I said in that live stream, I said that Jimin probably took home about 30% or lower, usually about 30% or lower. And some of you were like, 30%? Why would you give away so much? Okay, so let's go through it. As you know, Suga's D-Day concert earned 57.2 million, 28 sold out shows. And he has the highest grossing tour by a South Korean soloist in history. I'm sure that like me, all of you are so proud of him, and that he could have actually earned more if he listened to the recommendation of Big Hit to actually do a stadium concert. He declined. The demand for tickets was, my god, the demand was just out of this world. He really could have filled the stadium, but our guy is too humble. um, okay, so Suga's D-Day tour in Kia Forum in Inglewood in California uh, actually earned 3.164 million each night. So that would be 9.4, 9.5 in the 3 nights that he had the show in Inglewood. All right. So the question is that a lot of you are asking, like, so how much did he actually take home? For us to know how much the approximate is, I will never know how much he actually took home, but at least the approximate. Um, so we need to know how much a concert would actually cost, right? Okay. So renting a stadium like SoFi, Allegiant, if it is a stadium, it's going to cost you about 1.2 to 1.8 million per night. Okay. And one of the reasons is that you actually are not going to go there just for one night. If you're going to have a one night concert, you're going to have to be there the day before to set up and test and all of those things. So it's not just one night. So anyway, it's 1.2 to 1.8 for a stadium. Okay. And you can see this. I know this personally, like directly. I know this because I've done events before. But if you want like an exact reference and you just want to see where that number was mentioned, you can go to this article. It was written by Ray Waddell, but it was back in 2014, and he mentioned how much it is. Okay. For Madison Square Garden, which is actually considered an arena, just a little bigger, about 1,000 more in capacity than Kia Forum. It's about 400,000 back in 2006. So right around this year, probably 600, 500, 600, 550, maybe 600,000, but it was 400,000 back in 2006, and it was mentioned in a Deadspin article written by David Bixenspan. All right. So in this article, they said that it's right around 400,000 to open the door. When that term is used, to open the door, that means everything is included, including personnel for the building, not the concert, but for personnel for the building, like security, all of those stuff. That would be that's what they mean when they say to open the door, about 400,000. Now, in a concert, of course, there are other costs outside of the venue. There will be security, food, makeup, lights, and sounds. A lot more expenses go into it. For event security, the national average price, this is just the average price, would be 400,000 for 4 hours for a security, for an event security. Now, there are different securities. There's armed security, there is unarmed security, there is uniform security, there is event security, personal security. So, what we're looking for is event security. So, there's personal security, like bodyguards, and then there's event security. For an event security, it's right around 20 to 35, but this is several years ago. So they're probably right around 50, 55, maybe even 60 nowadays. That's per hour. Okay, that's an hourly cost. Now, the recommended number of securities per audience number is 1 is to 100. So there should be, if you have 16,000 people in the venue, for example, I'm estimating how many people will actually be accommodated in J-Hope's concert. So BMO is 22,000, so let's say he accommodates 16,000. It's about, so if the ratio is 1 to 100, then there will be 160 security people. If the rate is 50 per hour, that's about 88,000. Sorry, about 8,000 per hour. You're spending 8,000 per hour. And there will be, so if it's going to be 8 hours, if security will be called in for 8 hours, then you are looking at 64,000 for one entire day, for 1 8-hour day, for all of your 160 security personnel. Now, this is just event security. We're not even talking about the personal security of the staff, of the backstage, and the artist itself. Okay, so that's a separate expense, and they usually are more expensive. So if you are in the US, for example, if J Hope comes into the US, usually they bring their bodyguards, but they reinforce it with bodyguards that are actually based here in the US because it's cheaper in than flying their entire security team. And also, you just need more, especially in a concert. Okay, so that's a separate thing. Now, for dancers here usually they have their group. So, for example, this Dancers Alliance is a union. That's the word that I was looking for. Usually, dancers have unions. Dancers Alliance is a union of dancers, and they set the rate on how much you are going to get paid per day. So, for example, for rehearsal, that is paid. If it is an 8-hour rehearsal, you're going to get paid $450. If you go more than 8 hours, then that is time and a half. So 8 hours divided by 450, that's how much you're getting paid, time and a half. 1 hour and a half per every hour that's considered overtime. On the show itself, during the concert, you're going to get paid 925 minimum. Okay, minimum per show or per shoot day. That's a minimum. Now they also implement other rates like weekly tour rate. Like if you're going to go perform in different locations, you can just get them paid per week. So it's 2650 $2,650. There's also payment for travel or retainers. That's 220. So for example, if you want the same set of dancers in Chicago to go to Texas and then California, you want to bring them so that you don't have to keep on rehearsing and do all of those stuff. Then you do need to pay them 220 per travel. This is over and above their rehearsal and all of those stuff. The rehearsal rate and stuff. Okay. And then there's a per diem. So if they take you on days that you're not doing anything, you're not going to rehearse or whatever, they do need to provide you per diem. Domestic. If it is outside of the US, it's 120. So if you would remember, I think that was J-Hope who actually, not J-Hope, Jungkook who actually brought the US dancers to Hungary or Portugal. Where did he shoot? Standing next to you. So it was the same set of dancers. So they had to travel. So he paid them the travel fee of 220 minimum. Of course, they had to pay the tickets and all of those stuff. And then they also had to pay them per diem. Okay. And then there's like hazard rates. There's also a condition on what kind of tickets you have to buy them. Where is that? If the flight is more than 6 hours in length, it has to be economy plus or business class. So you can't just give them economy if they need to travel more than 6 hours. If it is 6 hours or less, it has to be at least economy, premium economy, or you have to give them extra leg space. Those are conditions. Okay. If you call them on a separate day to fit their costumes and all, you also need to pay them $60 per hour. And if you ask the dancers to bring their own clothes, you need to pay them 50 per outfit, and 40 per pair of shoes. All right. So, for example, they say just bring like a white shirt and black pants, then you need to give them 50 for that, even if they've owned that for like some time already. Doesn't matter. You still need to pay them $50. Okay. And then you need to provide for makeup, for hair, for nails. You need to give them food. You need to pay for accommodation. You need to provide for transportation, everything that they would need during the travel. You need to pay for that. Of course, insurance. Now there are other rates like for SAG-AFTRA. I'm sure for those that are in America, you're very familiar with SAG-AFTRA. This is the actors union. They also have a separate rate for dancers. But it's almost the same. It's just that it's a different organization. This one's a little higher. So almost the same thing. Rehearsal is 275. Rehearsal overtime is 40 per hour. $40 if performer is asked to bring any specific wardrobe item. So almost the same rate. Okay, so remember this rate. So I computed, for example, J-Hope has 20 dancers. I don't know how many dancers he's going to have, but for example, he's going to have 20 dancers. Since they are paid almost 900, almost 1 grand per performance day, then that would translate to 200,000 for 10 shows in the US if he wants to keep the same crew. Now, that's just for the performance. There is rehearsal. They usually make changes along the way. So every time he calls everybody for a rehearsal per day, he's going to be paying them. So I estimated all the rehearsal days probably 100,000, and then there's travel, per diem, food, and insurance. That is if he is going to keep the same crew in the entire travel, in the entire tour in the US. Okay, now outside of the dancers, of course there's lights, right? Because there has to be somebody operating and designing the lights. There's the lighting designer, and usually they package this. There are actually three people: lighting designer, lighting technician, and lighting operator. Usually you just get one group, or you talk to the designer and he will be the one that will recruit everybody else who's going to work in his crew. But usually I pegged it like 50,000 for 10 shows. A lot of people are going to say, probably that's not enough or whatever. That's just a peg. Okay. So for the lighting designer, the one who's going to actually design the lights, decide how the mood of the light is going to match or help enhance the message of the song, about 50,000 per show, especially if it's a 3 month or 2 month show. That's not long enough. I mean, that's a short tour. 50,000, that's pretty good. Okay. And then lighting technician, let's say 10,000. These are really like low. Lighting technician 10,000, lighting operators 10,000. There's more than one lighting technician, there's more than one lighting operator. Okay, and then you have the lighting designer. This person actually plans the designs. Okay. All right. And then you have sound. So this is the person that's actually responsible for what the audience is going to hear during the show. Okay. There are different crews in that group. There's the front of the house. He's the boss. Like, he's actually the one who's making sure that whatever you are going to hear is exactly what the artist wants you to hear. And then you have the monitor engineer, you have system technicians. These are the guys that are making adjustments, putting things together. You have audio technician, and then sometimes you also have a sound designer. Okay. So outside of that, aside from the sounds, you have wardrobe and you have makeup. Usually for makeup and for wardrobe, they bring their team, but they do ask for reinforcement in the US. They get people in the US to reinforce, because if there are production assistants who have very specific role. So for example, in a wardrobe team, there's actually somebody who needs to bring the clothes to the washer, right? So that's soaked in sweat. So after they take it off, somebody has to take all of those things, take it to the washer or dry wash or whatever is required, and make sure that that is back for the next round of use. So all of those things, like small things, you don't need to pay for somebody's flight from Korea to here to get those things done. You can just recruit somebody here. And then, of course, you have the creative director, which is the one that will be putting the vision of the artist, if the artist is participating in the creation, to actuality. And then you have the set designer and the stage designer. The set designer takes care of the props, things that they will be interacting with. So for example, for D-Day tour, he used a piano. So the set designer, it is under his responsibility to make sure that is brought, that someone is going to bring that. All of those, the detail of the chains that's carrying the stage, that lifts up, that goes up, that's his responsibility. And the stage designer is the one that is designing the scenery. So if for example, Suga says, okay, I want separate platforms that will go up and down, it's going to be the set designer who will make that a reality. Okay, and then you have production assistants, even the people that are giving water, making sure that Suga and J-Hope has water, or whoever, that's a production assistant. You can recruit that here. You don't need to fly that from the US unless the artist wants it. Other costs: permits, insurance, medic and ambulance, you have to pay for that. Travel, hotel and or accommodation, incidents, equipment, set, incidentals. This is a big cost. Usually it's a percentage of the entire cost. coverage or photography, and then band if it is going to be a live band. Like Suga has a live band, that's a separate cost. So if Suga's D-Day tour in Kia Forum actually earned 3.164 million, the question is how much was actually spent to put together the concert. The base cost is about 1.2 million per show. This is base cost, base. So this is the minimum. It's probably more. That set is expensive. It's very expensive. And remember, that set they had to actually bring from location to location. That's very, very expensive. And so the 1.2 is just base. So we don't know how much it's going to, we don't know the set of J-Hope yet. Um, so I guess we'll know once we see how much it's going to cost, or at least if it's going to be that expensive, less expensive, or if it's going to be simple or whatever. So whatever is left, that is divided between the label, the management, artist, and concert promoter. That is how the 30% was derived, because 1.2 is almost half of 3 million, right? Almost, not quite, but that is just the base expense. And out of that, you take out taxes. For example, whatever is left, you take out taxes, that's another 20-30% gone. And then you have whatever is left. And so it is not possible for the artist to get like 70% of what they earned. It's usually about 30. You're lucky if it's going to be 40. But the article that I showed you, that says it's like 30 is the maximum, usually nothing more than that. And then you have two groups. The concert promoter, this is they're focusing on security, is on the securing the promotion, securing the venue. And then you have the concert organizers who are actually putting the concert together in the US or whatever venue that they have. So if D-Day earned 57.2 million and he got 20%, Suga got 20%. That means he banked 11.4 million. If he got 30%, that means he banked 17.1. And he did the tour for about 3 months, 11.7 or sorry, 17.1 or 11.4. That is not bad. Am I right? Do you think that's bad? I do not think that's bad. So I keep on buffering. Um, Question, this just shows how much our guys love army. um they have to pay electricity. Yes, they have to pay electricity or whatever. There's a lot more fees in there. That is why, as I've said, the 30% is actually usually the maximum that they can get. It's usually lower than 30%. And I remember Eminem was, it was a long time ago, that's why I couldn't anymore find the footage, but he did talk about it. He said that at some point in his career, he decided, okay, I'm really going to sit down and look at my expenses. And that's when he realized, my God, I'm just taking home 30% of the entire thing, that of my entire earnings. And so that really depressed him until he realized, but if I do not spend that 70%, I won't have that 30%, because that's just how it goes. And remember, in the US, like an agent is 10%. If you have an agent for any kind of project, that they automatically get 10%. So, and then he has a manager whom he really, really loves. His name is Paul. He gets 10%, right? So that's already 20% out the door for him. And then you have taxes, like a good 20%, maybe 15 if he's lucky, but probably 20. So that's already 40% away from his gross. So it's really, he's really left with like 30% at, at most. But as I've said, like if you look at it, 57.2 million, and he bags, like if he got 30%, 17 million in 3 months, that is not bad at all. A group I had managed back in the day, we had to pay. So yeah, it really depends on, and there's like, I think in California, there's like environmental fee, environmental tax that you need to pay. There's it's different from city to city, or state to state. 30% in our love, which is priceless, right? It is priceless. I mean, 30%, and then all the merch that we buy. This is just, I was just talking about like the price of the concert, like the ticket price. But they didn't even disclose how much they sold in merch. And as we know, for merch, that actually is they net better. They earn better in merch, because there is no artist participation in that, right? Like it goes to the manufacturer, they make the merch, and then it goes to the customer. Like the artist isn't participating in that process. So that merch is actually where the billions are. BTS Forever 7, it crossed my mind. Some idols opened their own agency. They could go bankrupt in a few years. She's. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. Like a lot of people think that, oh, you have your own business, you can do whatever it is that you want. You're a billionaire. That can't be farthest that is just farthest from truth. Because you have to pay people, especially if you're an agency that's already actually employing people. Like you have to pay them, and remember, you're paying the cost to the employer is twice the amount of what you're paying the employee. So for example, if you're getting paid, this is just an example, if you're getting paid $100,000 a year, it actually costs the employer about $200,000 to maintain you, because we need to pay taxes for you, insurance, all of those things. So yeah, no, it's not easy. No matter how popular you are, it can really drain you. Taylor Swift gave the truckers a big bonus at the end of the tour. Not sure if other roles received a bonus. I believe all of them. She gave a bonus to everybody. That's what I understand. She just gave everybody a bonus. Exactly, it's a risk. Lisa said in an interview recently that she didn't realize how much everything cost until she started her own agency. Yeah. And actually, the thing is that you actually need, this is another thing that many people don't realize. You actually need cash flow. Like you need constant money coming into your company in order to maintain employees, right? And so right now, Lisa isn't really doing any big project that is going to earn her a lot of money, because she hasn't done concerts. And I don't think she has any new brand ambassador deals. Um, so there's really not a lot of money coming in, like a steady flow of income. And we already know by now, I've discussed it several times, how much they earn from streams. It's not a lot. So if you're going to maintain like even just five staff, like regular staff with you, if you're going to maintain them, that's already a lot of money. So if those people are getting paid, this is just an example, if those people are getting paid 3,000 a month, for example, $3,000 a month. Again, just an example. If they're getting paid $3,000 a month, it actually costs her $6,000 to maintain per person. So if she has five staff, so six times five. And that's the amount of money that needs to come in regularly for her to not drain her own money. In Suga's concert, income is hard to earn, easy to spend, a quote from Paul McCartney. um, Also, the online concerts help with costs too. The online concert, yeah, that's a little cheaper, but whatever, but you also need to spend a little bit more on staff, because you're going to hire more people in order to pre-produce all the songs and some of the numbers and stuff like that. Like for Suwutsu, the one that they did with no audience, they still set up the stage. So they still rented the stadium, the venue, sorry. It's just that there are no people, so they needed less security and stuff. In Suga's concert, um, Lara said a total of 12 trucks was used for the August D-Day tour. Uh, in Suga's concert last time, I paid around $1,000, my currency, or 1,000. What's your currency? Just to see him. I don't mind paid extra more. um Me Too said they should get a refund when the online broadcast crashes. True. Doing Jazzy J said doing a concert tour is like shopping for clothes. You have to see what city government will offer you to play in their city or country. It's like the blue light sales at Walmart. Yeah. So I hope that gives us a better appreciation in the amount of work that artists are actually putting in their concerts. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not cheap. Um And if you're going to put your own management company, whatever kind of business you want to put up for yourself, always think about the cash flow. You need the cash flow, especially if you're going to rent an office and actually employ people. You need money constantly coming in. Okay. If you paid the scalper, Sugar wouldn't get that extra money. Correct. So if you buy the ticket, for example, from Ticketmaster for 1,000, this is just an example. So whatever is due to Sugar from that 1,000 is what he's going to get. If you sell it, for example, if you sell it for 2,000, Sugar is not going to take a cut from the extra 1,000 that you sold it for, right? So that's why I don't like scalpers. I am willing to pay more to the artist directly, but not to the scalpers. In Australia, the government offers you two kangaroos and a boomerang. We'll see BTS in 20. Okay, which makes her actions all the more suspect. Who? Anne Shoulder said you would think that Mama Roach would know all this and realize it's not viable for them to break free and realize how much support they got from Adore and Hybe. Because she's really not. Do you believe that anything you get easy or not? Okay. Most of the time, when people get something easy, the less likely they're going to value that thing. Do you believe in that? Fairlane, what percent does an artist get from merch? Wait, okay, I'll discuss that, but let me finish this train of thought first. The one thing that they got easy is the network. So as soon as they started, the network of BTS is already existing. And she was given everything that she wanted. She wanted independence. She was given that. She wanted this, that. She was given everything that she wanted, almost in a silver platter. So it didn't really, she didn't sweat it out to get what she to get what she had. She just had to ask. And that I think is why she never really quite understood how difficult it is to establish all of those things because it was just given to her. Versus, like, for example, BTS, they started with nothing, then they know the value of what they have because they had to build that from nothing. Uh, okay, for in terms of the merch, that really depends, but it's way more. Somebody can actually earn it depends on several things. Somebody can actually earn like 2,000%, right? It can be that 3,000%, 4,000%. It can be that. Primarily, it depends on the positioning of the brand. So, for example, BTS merch aren't cheap, right? They're not cheap. So, for example, if they sell a shirt for they sell it less, this is just an example. If they sell it for $50, if you compute how much it's going to cost to manufacture, to transport, to distribute, so let's say the raw material and the actual like creation, like sewing of the shirt, it's going to cost you, if because you usually buy in bulk, right? You're going to buy like 5,000 pieces, for example. That will cost you what, $3 to complete, pack, sew, cut, design, everything. Maybe $3.50. And then you add in the cost of transportation, shipping, permits, QR codes, distribution. Let's say another $3.50. So you have $7. That's your hard cost. COGS is what we call it, the cost of goods. So then, and then you sell it for $50. So that's how much yield you can have. So you're going to have $33. That's your yield. And then you split it between and because they directly ship for weavers, it's them directly shipping. They don't pay a middleman. So let's say, let's just assume that BTS is getting 80% of that $32, and then the rest goes to big hit, or ADOR, or sorry, not ADOR, HYBE. So then multiply the 80%. What's 80% of 32? I don't know. Or 33. Is it 20? Sorry, is it 23? Is it 20, 24? Ah, I'm close. So 24, that goes to BTS. Now, if they sold like 1,000 of that, let's just say 1,000. So 24 times 1 times 1,000, then they earn 2,400, 24,000 for something they didn't do anything on, just the design. Maybe if they design it, then that's the capital. So imagine that they didn't do anything. They didn't have to rehearse, they didn't have to risk their voices and their health, and they just sold it and they earned 24,000. So that's how much it's actually, it's way more. So for, I think for and they hardly market. Their marketing is just them announcing it on Weverse. So they don't really have a cost for marketing. So, that's how much more it is profitable to actually sell merch. Um who spot on. Majority don't realize how much money we spent producing a concert. My cousin used to produce concerts locally. The cost is far from what people believe it was. Because everyone thought, like, because people think that if somebody announces, oh, they gross like 100 million, like the concert of Taylor Swift, it grossed like what, 1 billion or something like that, 2 billion. And people think, oh my God, she's a billionaire. No, she's not a billionaire. She's not going to get all the 2 billion. She's going to have to pay people, venues, taxes, not billions. She's going to get a lot, especially because she's a solo performer. And then she also composes all of her songs. So um, thank you, Fairlene, for the explanation. You're welcome. Let's put on a show. Okay, if I were them, I would take free content, repackage for streaming TV, and syndicate. And that is what BTS is doing, which is another strategy that many other groups are already taking, even Western artists. They would take the same thing, repackage the content, re edit, and then sell it. So, for example, you have a movie and then they turned it into a series. Right? Jungkook has a movie, he has a documentary, and then they played it on Disney as a series with 20 minutes additional footage. So that's how the same thing with with Suga. They had a movie and then they turned it into a series and then another movie. So it's the same content, you're just repackaging it. So for example, the Love Yourself they had, or the what do you call this, the Busan concert, then they turned it into a DVD and sold it. So they earned from the concert, and now they're earning. Then they earn from the concert the sales and sponsorship if there's any, and then they are earning from the merch. And then once they put it into a DVD and sell it, then they earn again. I want Jin documentary. I have full faith that he's going to have one. Ophelia, Angel Star. Now we are getting serious. There's hope for us yet. BTS 2026, here we come. Yeah. Okay. Let's do. When you realize all the money involved in bringing a concert, you can understand why BTS having to cancel MOTS was so devastating. True. True. Because those, many of the things, like if they made some deposits aren't actually refundable anymore. That's just, and then there are some things that they had to pay in full already. So Army is gearing up for BTS Festa 2025 merch. It's going to be, I mean, imagine what's happening with J-Hope, and this is just one member. And imagine having 7 members all together again. It's absolutely Hunger Games, I'm telling you. So be ready. Zealand can New Zealand can throw in some goods. Sauvignon Blanc. Oh, I used to, when I still used to drink regularly. I love white wine. They made all stages for Mod 7 and they didn't even get to use them. Correct. Has anybody read the short story, The One Who Got Away from the Omelas, Weverse is going to be so backed up with BTS merch orders. I hope they are ready. I hope they know what they're getting themselves into. Okay, so the Omelas, the one who got away from the Omelas, is the basis, the creative basis, the creative foundation of Spring Day, the Queen, the one song that has been charting for 8 years, and she will not let us forget it. So if you haven't read it, please read it because it's a good, super good story, and that was the foundation, the creative foundation of Spring Day. So the Omelas is actually a they live in a it's a place, and it's some sort of a utopia, like paradise. It's so clean, so progressive, so safe. Everybody's just happy. They busy themselves with arts activities outdoors. Everything is clean, no crime. It's like really a paradise for everybody. That's the kind of place, like if you want to think of the ideal country you want to be in, that this is it. That's the concept of the place, the Omelas. So it's like paradise in the city. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. They are hiding a secret though. Okay. So all these beautiful places and the happiness and safety of these people and the progress that they are enjoying, the what they are getting in return, what they don't know is that someone is getting sacrificed for them to get that paradise, and it's a little child. So regularly, this child is actually tortured, hurt, all types of miseries happening to this child. And the condition is, for as long as this child is miserable, as long as the child is in pain and getting tortured or whatever, then you get your paradise. That's the condition. Now, everybody in the Omelas, once in their life, will be shown this child, and they will be asked, they will be told, and they will be explained to that this is the price of the paradise that you are experiencing. So for as long as you want to continue living in this paradise, then this child has to continue suffering. So some of them will say, okay, that is a required sacrifice, then I'll take it and will continue living in the Omelas. And then there are some who just can't take it. So they will leave, but no one really knows where they go. They just leave the place. Okay. So that is the main question of the music video of Spring Day. Is the peace, happiness, safety, prosperity of a million worth the suffering of one child? So that's a question that they're asking. And that is a question they're asking the audience. Would you, if it means the entire world is going to be peaceful, progressive, beautiful again, no crime, you can walk at 3 a.m., you're not going to get harassed, nothing is going to happen to you. But in exchange, one child has to suffer constantly. Will you take it? Will you treat that as a requirement, a required sacrifice for the many? So in the music video, there were a lot of elements that were consistent in both the book, and they also used it in the music video. One is the train tracks. So the train tracks is used, the train actually is used in the Omelas, the book, as the device by which people come and go. So once a person sees the child and they can't take it, then they leave through the train. So Te, in this beautiful scene, absolutely beautiful scene, when he was listening to the train tracks, it was actually him hoping that his friends and the people that he loves in this place would actually follow him to leave, because he can't take having the child suffer just for everybody else to have a peaceful life. That's the meaning of it. And that's a device that was constantly used in the book. And then this like abandoned uh, playground is also used in the book, because it's sort of a symbol that there's something wrong in this paradise, that it is artificial, that it seems like a beautiful place, but there's something wrong within it. if you would remember the scene of Suga sitting on a pile of clothes, it was actually an art piece by Christian Boltanski, and it's titled Personas. It was actually meant to show um, the fragility of human existence, where, because if you look at the clothes, if you actually really dig deeper into it, you look at all of these clothes and you realize there's no body in the clothes. Like there's just it's empty. The same way the Omelas is actually the peace and the happiness of the Omelas were actually empty. Okay, I just included this because I love the cinematography of this one. Now, what people don't realize is that, so they left. This is the scene where they left. They were going to leave. The seven of them were about to leave the Omelas. And then, if you see the train passing, Jungkook was also in the train. So the one thing people fail to ask is, were they the kids who had to suffer from everyone else? Because everyone interpreted it to mean that they left the Omelas just because they couldn't stand the child suffering for their happiness. But no one asked, were they the ones that were being sacrificed? In the same breath that they had to sacrifice as artists, they had to go through all the pains in order to provide others the benefits of the network and the name that they have established. Right? So they had to go through all of that just so everyone will benefit from it. In this story, it's the same thing. They were supposed to leave only to realize they were the sacrifice. Okay. So that's why in this scene, they all were like very sad because they kind of realized that, oh my God, it's us. Okay. So I guess that's the same question that I will be asking you. Is the peace, happiness, and safety and prosperity of a million worth the suffering of one? Like if you were asked to make a choice, like would you be willing to allow one person, whether it's a child or somebody else, to suffer for as long as they had to, for as long as we want peace, they will have to suffer? Do you think it's worth it? People also associate it to attribute to the victims. Yes. So this is the Creative Foundation. The song is actually a tribute to the Sewell Ferry tragedy. Yeah. So the boat that sank, they wrote this as a tribute to them, but I was talking about the Creative Foundation of the whole music video. How did, no, a child, me too, that's a child. Well, the one that has to suffer is a child. Well, does our entertainment trump the members' well-being? um I don't think it is, and it's about the fans. It's more about them being sacrificed by the industry so that everyone else will benefit. So it's always them having to go through, having to pave the way, having to break the barrier. They had to suffer the insults, the racist comments, accusations of being gay, being discriminated. They had to do all the sacrifice so that eventually others can actually benefit and have it an easier time because they did all the hardships. They went through the hardships already. I honestly hope that I would say that no, it is not worth it. If you think, T Style said, if you think of the world today, how many children are suffering? They can all buy saved by one. Oh, you mean if there are like millions of children are also suffering. But if somebody says like, okay, well, I'll take just one kid and others won't suffer anymore. Is that what you're saying? Leia said, I love the behind the scenes with the clothes pile. The guys were rummaging around saying, I like this. Can I have this? Yeah, it was fun. I meant something we can learn from this. Oh, yeah, 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 yes, yes, Ophelia. When was the story? Yes, I get what you're saying, Ophelia. So just to clarify, what basically she's saying is, in the same breath, we should also think about BTS and I guess other artists as well. That just because we are entertained doesn't mean that we should put them through hell. Just because we're paying them or just because we're supporting them doesn't mean that we should put them through hell. As long as the one is my Chu or Taeyong, I might be cool with it. You mean the one that will benefit? You're okay with it? When was the story originally published? Ah, a long time ago. Let's see. Like, this is an old book. 1973. October 1973. The ones who walk away from Omelas or Omelas. 1973. I wasn't alive yet. As long, okay, I don't think I could. The thought makes me ill. So no, if one has to suffer for the many, you won't take it. Not my or not my Chu or te. Because when I saw the pile of clothes, my mainframe went to World War II. Is the beauty and the ugly of humanity. That's not old, Anne said. That's 1973. She said it's not old. BTS is the only group I know that if you have an advanced degree, it helps to understand their message. I cannot view them as just a boy band ever. I agree. I agree. It's not, they're not just, they're not, this is what I'm talking about. That's why as I've said, I'm just going to dedicate my time trying to highlight the creative genius and the narrative behind their music because everyone deserves to know that they're not just an ordinary boy band. But how can anyone decide for the child? I wouldn't be okay with it. Uh, yeah, I mean, you can in this novel, the choice for you is if you're okay with the child suffering, then you stay in that utopia. If you're not okay, you just leave. Fairly, you're still a baby. No, I'm ancient. Oh my God. Elizabeth said, I felt it was BTS suffering for their craft, and then BTS telling us others suffering can be resolved with love. That's also a good interpretation. If we sacrifice one, it will become easier to sacrifice others. And then when do we stop? I say that one is special. The book is 2 year older than me, lol. Angel Star said. Good night, everyone. I have to work in the morning. Good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my live stream. If you paid $3 for a shirt, someone else paid for the real cost of that shirt. Correct. I agree. HHK said also their creative process as an artist is acknowledging the struggles needed to complete the art. Yet they are sharing this with us, vulnerable and courageous. I think you are doing fab in promoting BTS. We need to promote you more. Thank you. Thank you. That's, I think, like a lot of other um, YouTubers and content creators are already doing well in covering other things. Like, and you mentioned many of them, like Bora City and what's the other name? What's the other guy? Hi Boy. So I feel like I can't match them. They're so good at what they do. I haven't, not that I have seen them, but based on what you guys are saying, like I can't match what they do. So I'm just going to do I think I really love doing, and I fell in love with BTS really because of the substance first and foremost. So I just want to highlight that, and I feel like it's about time for people to actually really understand the substance of their songs and substance of their art and their music, and if we have a chance at making other people realize that, it has to start from us. So that's just what I'm going to start doing. Like I don't mind if people say, "Hey, my your interpretation is wrong" or whatever. I think that's part, and that's healthy, and it's part of art. Like there is no one interpretation, but if I can inspire other people to think and also make their own interpretation, and I think that's fine. Bora City live stream every Friday. I would love for them to meet face to face and do a Run BTS episode. Pink Crystal facts. Pink Crystal. The message in their songs are far too deep. You need to really see beyond just the lyrics. They really are one of a kind. Our BTS. Yes. Okay. Before it's already an hour and 34. before I forget this, there is a little peace in the world, and that's why we love BTS. Thank you, Fairlane. Jessica said, "No, thank you. Thank you for joining me in this venue, in this journey, because I really love. I enjoy interpreting art, talking about art. Um, and my resolve is that I will just keep on doing it, even if there's just one person who watches. But knowing that you guys are here, then that makes it better because sharing it with other people, right? Okay, well, let's talk about something else. You've seen all of this. I'm sure that you've seen. I won't be able to complete this entire thing because the report is so long. But Luminate, I'm sure that you hear this a lot, especially if you have an X account. They do charts. They measure the success, they measure the success of or the popularity of certain musical acts, and they publish the report quarterly. So there is I think it was Popcore, was it Popcore who published a Q3 report, but they didn't make it clear that it was a Q3 report, stating that Les Seraphim, who is fast becoming my favorite girl group, uh, ended up being one of the most popular and supported girl group in South Korea. Hi, Sam L. Sam L said, Fairlane, there is no comparison between you and Boris City and Hi Boy. You have your strong points, and I'm sure many of us here truly enjoy your content. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And again, you guys inspire me. So this journey is better, way better because you guys are here. Um, People, okay, Elizabeth Besco, Fairyling, before I forget, 1 month before BTS reunites, people are asking what song to blast. Just one. Forever Young. There is for another time. This is for another time, I understand. Okay. So, okay, going back to Luminate. So they published a Q3 report on who are the most influential K-pop acts. Actually, just musical acts globally, and they mentioned that the highest ranking K-pop group is Les Seraphim, which I'm very happy about because they are fast becoming my favorite girl group. But that was just for Q3, but I still think that it is a great achievement for Les Seraphim. So this is how they compute their artist influence index. There's 30% streaming footprint, social media footprint 15%, artist awareness 25%, public appeal 15%, and engagement score 15% for 100%. So whoever gets the highest score gets to become the highest ranking or most influential artist. Now, this is the ranking. So the first set of numbers is the rank, and then the next is the score. So the highest one is Les Seraphim. They're the highest K-pop ranking group. 66 is their rank. Their number is 66, and the score is 72. And then Stray Kids is 84, and then their score is 70. New Jeans actually made it at 97. ITZY is 153. G Idol is 225, and Lisa of Blackpink is 235. So, but there is another artist that actually made it. So this is the time. So it's top 250, and it is Q3 of 2024, not the entirety of 2024. There is another group that made it. It's actually TXT, Tomorrow X Together, and they are number 84. So that would place them after Stray Kids. So they have, so like all of them have right around the same ranking, 84, 82, and 82. But the way they got the numbers, they got the ranking is actually different. So for example, for Blue, this one Blue is TXT. For them, fan engagement and public perception, that's higher. So they scored higher in that. They didn't score high in awareness. So they're measuring the US, remember. Um, so they didn't score so much, that they scored low in awareness, but high in fan engagement and public perception. And then higher, not so high on streaming, not so high in social media. So these two measures actually pulled them up. In the same breath, Olivia Rodrigo scored high in awareness, not so much on streaming, a lot on social media, big on social media, not a lot on public perception, but it's almost equal. So in the end, they had the same amount of, they had the same score basically. So this is just to demonstrate that you can get to a certain score different ways. So, but I think it's a big achievement considering this is a US ranking. It's a big achievement for Les Erfim. And I think for 2025, they're gearing up for a North America promotion. And I think that's the target. I think that has always been the plan for Les Erfim to go north, to go west, sorry, to go west. And I think it's going to work. So Twice is still my favorite group, favorite girl group, but they are next. So it used to be Mamamoo, but they haven't been active in a while. So they Le Seraphim and I'll It are actually replacing Mamamoo, but Twice is still number one. I love that Le Seraphim and G Friend are with the same label. I hope G Friend has a great comeback. I hope so too. Me Too said, same. I'm just really discovering Le Seraphim, and I think I might eventually become a Fear Not. Substance content creator is rare nowadays. I heard that. I rarely see or encounter like a real a content creator that deals with analysis. They're there, they're out there definitely, but not a lot of them. Like I think my biggest disappointment, I think I've mentioned this before. One of my biggest disappointments is that whenever I go online, most of the time the content creators that I see are really just concentrating on like cheering, just like they act all excited, but they don't really say anything about the music of BTS. So I feel like I think you're just cloud chasing. Although I also do understand that there is a market for that. They just want to like sit back and just enjoy the music with somebody else, not really think about the substance or whatever. And that's fine. TXT are underrated. They are underrated. I agree. Elizabeth, good night. Me too. I love that Lizard. Okay, good night. BTS has substance ever since. Pink Crystal. The hanging, Don Marie. The hanging sneakers gets me all the time. I heard, so one of my office mates is actually from Mexico. For them, he said that that's a tradition in Mexico to honor the dead. The shoe going into the tree. But I also understand that it's used several ways in different cultures. But when he saw it, it was like, oh, in our country, that's used to honor the dead. So which is consistent with the objective of the song. It was really written to honor the victims of the boat. So the sewol. Was there another category besides 13 to 34-year-old women? Category where? Les Seraphim is the only girl group I'm ready to stand. Their recent comeback was everything for me. I love Crazy. I love Crazy. I love Perfect Night. I love um 1-800 Having Fun, 1-800 Hot. And then I love Crazier. Is that the title's Crazier, the one that Yunjin produced? And I love the current single of Yunjin, Jellyfish. I think she's really maturing as a songwriter. I love the meaning of it. I actually did a video, critical analysis on that. So if you can, please listen to watch that video. Dia de Muertos. Yes, it is to honor the death, but anything you want to know, ask. I am Mexican and just did a small publication about it. Bella Chick said, yes, it is to honor the dead. Yeah, that's why I did. She didn't really explain all that much. Um, that's all he said. Like, oh, that in Mexico, that is to honor the dead. So, and I thought like, oh, that's consistent with what the song wanted, which is to honor the victims of the Sewell tragedy. But substance is what makes BTS fire. I love in that thinking. Emma said, true, you are a rare person. Every time you talk substance about BTS, like this need to be a true army. Thank you. Making okay. How do I find Yunjin's songs? I did a critical analysis of it. So just a brief description to everybody else. The song is Jellyfish. And the idea, according to Yunjin, the idea came from her learning that when a jellyfish dies, it dissipates. It disappears and it leaves nothing behind, because it is like 90% water or something like that, 80% water. So it dies, it just becomes water. It becomes one with the ocean and then nothing. And so for her, she was struck with the idea of people not leaving anything behind. Like, what if, what if we live our lives not really concerned about what we're going to be leaving behind, or what, um the memory that, or how we're going to be remembered, or the memories that we're going to be creating for people to remember. Is it going to make us not want to live, knowing that we will be forgotten? Are we going to feel like, oh, it's this, everything is useless if not nothing's going to if no one's going to remember me? Or is it going to allow us to just live in the moment, because that's all we've got, right? We have nothing to look forward to. So our tendency be to just live in the moment? I'm just going to do anything and everything I can now, because this is all I've got. So, and I found it so profound, because I never really thought about that. Like, as far as I know, people are always like, it's second nature for everybody to just want to leave something behind, to be remembered in a good way, and for you to just exist and not be concerned about how people are going to remember you. I think that is just a different way of living for me. So if you have the time, please listen to her song, and then if you can check out my video about it. I love your PowerPoints. I haven't really like figured out a way. I haven't really experimented with other software. There were some people that were recommending other things to me, because they said, like, you don't always have to use just your PowerPoint. You can you can use something else. So I will experiment with that. I just haven't gotten into it to it, but I will. Um, Watch the analysis. It was fab. Thank you, Ophelia. Please share it. Top of your chart said 13 to 34-year-old women. Oh, that's the only one that they have released yet. They've released an annual one, which I will go through next time. It's just that there were a lot, so I couldn't finish everything. But yeah. Okay. So do you have any questions you want me to ask? Me to answer? We are approaching an hour 47. I know people still have work tomorrow, so I don't want to hold you up too late. Do you have questions, anything or suggestions for topics, things that you want me to cover? For the oh, someone was actually asking about the song. Um, Honestly, I haven't, no one has really gotten. What usually happens is that somebody on Twitter will get in touch with me and ask me to promote something, and if that group or that person is someone I trust, then I will help promote when it comes to BTS. So no one has really gotten in touch with me on what song we're going to be boosting before their comeback. But really, my tendency is to go for the next song that's going to cross the next point. Like, for example, Fake Love is very close to 1 billion streams in Spotify. So my tendency is to say, why can't we just like do Fake Love? So people are saying, because the message of the song isn't really something that we want to boost in the, so okay. So I'm going to have to wait, because I don't think I have the time to start a project because of all the things that I'm doing. Honestly, sometimes I even take little notes when you're explaining things I don't quite understand, so I just don't forget. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank Crystal. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really happy that you're like getting something out of what I'm presenting. Um that's an addition. Like, I just love doing it. I love analyzing their music. It's so rare to find an artist like them. Leah said, I've never thought about how people would remember me. Is that strange of me? No, I think, as I've said, just like the song said, it's liberating, because then you're just really concentrating on the now. If you're not really thinking about, oh, you're just living now. So I think that's a great thing. I not that I have not I don't really also think about how people are going to remember me. I just want to, more than that, I think what I think about is how I'm going to leave the people behind. Like, for example, my niece who I helped raise growing up. I just wanted to make sure that before I pass that she's okay, she's secured, and she's going to be taken care of, things like that. Like, I want to make sure that whoever I leave behind, the people that I care about, they'll be okay. So it's more that, but not really that I want to be remembered. I want them to be okay. So I love the entire Crazy album, and Jellyfish too. Your deep analysis of Jellyfish is an eye opener. Thank you. And I think Yunjin really is reminding me of Namjoon. I mean, of course, Namjoon is still a different league, and of course, he's been doing it way longer than Yunjin. But they kind of have that same approach, that they don't want to just write something that sounds good, that they are actually putting substance in what they're writing. So Yunjin started with more like straightforward ideas. They're great ideas, but they're still a little bit more straightforward, like blessing in disguise, raise your glass. There are ideas there, but it's more straightforward. Jellyfish is the first song where, well, Idol is kind of, but Jellyfish is when she really blossomed. I feel like she got there, where she's able to take a deep, deep concept and actually put it in music. There's a controversy about Hype or Adore and body cam. I've seen some headlines, but I'm still clueless. I discussed that last week. So apparently, the girls, old shorts, moved out of their apartment, that expensive apartment in Hanam. And so what Hype did, or Adore did, is send staff wearing body cams, right? So that when they clean, whatever they do, whatever they find will be recorded, so that nobody accuses anybody of anything, which I think is a great move. I would have done the same, just to make sure that nobody accuses them of moving things, planting this, like everything is going to be recorded. That's what it is about. Now, there before Adore sent their people, allegedly there is a sassing who managed to go in their apartment because it was open. That was then this sassing fan actually took some pictures and published it, and then immediately took it down. And now some fans of New Jeans are accusing Hybe of being the one to have published that photo. They said it's media play. I don't know what for, like what kind of point are they trying to make? Like, I don't understand. Anyway, I also am not interested in what they're saying. So, but that is the whole controversy. The smart ass in me thought, if I was a jellyfish, you remember me if I stung you. Is she the same one who sings Wildflower? No, no, that's a different singer. Lara, she sang I Don't Know in Hope on the Street. So she was the girl J Hope had to do it with. She also had to do it with Max. Stupid in Love. Sorry, Stupid in Love. That's the song. That's her song with Max. And then I Don't Know with J Hope. So if you want to listen to her, I would recommend this one, Jellyfish. You can also listen to Blessing in Disguise. I think in terms of melody and beat, that's the one that I like the most. And then I do like her very first one, Raise Your Glass. Rachel, okay. Leah said, Adore staff wore yeah. So they wore a body cam when they inspected Nujine's apartment after they have moved out, to make sure that they don't get accused of this and that, because everything is recorded. I guess the fans, Faiza said, I guess the fans did their thing again and blame Hybe. Yeah, as usual. I think the thing is that I think even like many people are losing interest as the days of BTS's return come closer, because everyone is just anticipating their return now. So it's a good distraction that J Hope is actually touring, because then we're not that antsy. Um, and of course, J Hope deserves this moment. But like, I think all this anticipation of their return, J Hope's tour, like the tour in Seoul, the stop in Seoul getting sold out right off, like immediately, almost immediately after it was the tickets were released. I think all these things, it's exciting to a lot of people. It sounds exciting because imagine, like, this is just one member. Imagine what's going to happen if it's all seven of them actually come together, and then all the successes that they've had as individual, as solo artists. Imagine that and then combine it. My God, it's going to be like so big. And I think people are just anticipating that. And so people are also losing interest on everything else. Like a lot of these journalists are just saying, like, pack it up, like just finish that already because BTS is going to come back and we just want to concentrate on them. I get a bit wiser just listening to your explanation. Ah, thank you. Thank you. I thought Han and the Hill was a very secure place. Wonder how the stalker got in. Well, there are some people that are saying that this is not actually a stalker, that it was sent by someone. um, I used to not like YouTube Live. I am more or a lurker law, but with your channel, I quite enjoy it joining the convo. Thank you. Well, I always say this, but my goal has always been to be the dumbest one in the group. Because I like learning. So surrounding yourself with people that are smarter actually benefits me, and I am able to do that. You guys are smarter than me. So I learn more from you than you actually learn from me. Apparently, the girls had also shown parts of the apartment during live streams. They have live streamed from the apartment many times before, yes. They were very proud of it. They had like individual live streams showing the apartment off and all of those things. Bangtan 2025, 3750-ish hours, 5 months. It's nothing. I can't wait to see them. The joy. 5 months is nothing. We've lasted what, 2.5 years? We can do this. They could have 8 concerts in one. True. That's why I said I want them to have like a residency and just do like some sort of a festival. So there's a day where one member will have a concert, another day and stuff, you know. um but people are complaining, like, if they do a residency, then people will be forced to go to just that one location. Dawn said, I always look forward to your PowerPoints. Thank you. I will try to innovate. Someone recommended something great to me. I'm going to try and use it hopefully by next month. Next month, I'm going to travel for work. I will still do my live stream, but I will travel for work just for several days. I'm going to Vegas actually. So just for I've been to Vegas so many times. Like, I think I've run out of things to do. so so I will, yeah, just would you think I would okay, residency. OMG, I would think I died and went to heaven if they do that. Cheaper though. Remember how empty and lost we felt when they first left for the military? Or is that just me? No, that was everybody. I was so sad. But I also yes, I was very sad when they announced the them as signing up, I mean, enlisting. But also immediately after, everything that I heard about the government trying to like offer them exceptions or looking for a way to get them exempted just so they could ask BTS to do this and that for them. I actually felt relieved that they just decided to serve. So I felt like that's the right decision for them that they served, because otherwise if they bit the offer, then they will be in the beck and call of these politicians, which we know is not nice. So JR said it's easy to keep up when you use PowerPoint. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I will for now keep on using them until I find something else. Me too. Yes, we all felt it when they went in, but I was so proud of how they handled everything. Yeah. Um, I think I've told that story. I know someone who works for their gaming company in the US, and as early as 2018, I think they were already planning for advanced content. So I kind of knew that they were going to enlist together. Because he mentioned like, oh, we're preparing 3 years of advanced content. I was like, 3 years? Are they going to enlist together? Well, they did. I didn't mention that because I wanted to wait until they enlist. So the anticipation of them leaving was horrible, but now we're on the other side and we're counting down until they're back. Yes, but first, J-Hope's concert. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Love all the lives. I need to leave for work. Have a good night and day, everyone. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. Um, I will have to go now as well. I still have work tomorrow, but I appreciate everybody for coming and for joining me. Let me know if you want me to discuss any kind of topic. I'll try my best to do it. And I appreciate you all. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Bye.